It's time for the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX. On your radio at AM 940 and online at mywithersradio.com. Recognized by the Illinois Broadcasters Association as one of the premier radio feature programs in the state. You're about to roam the region with more guests and content courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. Live from the Powerhouse, the Saturday Sports Show starts now.
And good morning. Hard to believe it's here. It's Saturday morning in the King City. Time for another Saturday Sports Show. WMIX. We're online today, of course, at mywithersradio.com. We're presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
We are glad to have you with us. It was a busy night in some parts for high school football last night. Others will have to wait till today or even on Monday to get their high school football games in. Of course, we'll run down your scoreboard in just a moment. Of course, the Mount Vernon Rams last night fell to the Mascoutah Indians 16-8. You heard it here on WMIX. You watched it online at mywithersradio.com. Busy lineup for you today as we'll talk cross-country with Clint Turner here coming up in just a moment. We'll talk last night's game. We'll recap with Jared Shaner, head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams. Join us today will be Jason Roper of the Harrisburg Bulldogs. His team, a big win last night over DuQuoin. We'll talk with Benton Rangers head coach Jeremy Clodfelder. His team had the foresight to play on Thursday. They beat the Sparta Bulldogs Thursday night as well. We'll talk to WMIX sports correspondent John Shadowens. He took in a game on Thursday. He also took in a game, sort of, last night. And then we'll talk Woodlawn Volleyball coming up as well here on the Saturday Sports Show. You won't want to miss that. You're going to want to hang tight as we will talk cross-country here in just a moment with Clint Turner. Of course, we'll get to those scores in just a bit after we talk to Coach Turner about Ram cross-country and the Vernon Rams, who have had a great start to their season already. The Vernon Rams actually won the Murfreesboro invite this week, earlier on this week, and got a big win there. The team finished with 28 points. Carbondale was back in second. Marion hung tight in third. Eastside was fourth. Centralia in fifth, but the Rams dominated on Thursday afternoon at Murfreesboro. We do welcome to the program Mount Vernon Rams cross-country coach Clint Turner. Coach Turner, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
You know what, doing pretty good, but the question I have to ask you is, are the Vernon Rams going to be running today?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Hey, we're in Granite City right now. I would say conditions are perfect.
Nice.
I don't believe we're going to really have to worry about rain, and it's overcast and nice and cool here right now, and the rain's kind of settled all the dirt and the dust, and it's a beautiful, beautiful way to run cross country. So we're ready to go.
Excellent. Thursday afternoon, you guys head to Murfreesboro for the Murfreesboro Invitational. David Moddert finished in first place. A nice performance from the rest of the team as well. You guys get a big win down there in Murphy.
Yeah, it was Wednesday.
Oh, my
It was
apologies.
Wednesday, but we had a good day. That meet has most of Southern Illinois there, Class A and 2A. It's kind of what we could look at it as a preview to the conference meet for us, as we see Carbondale and Centralia and Marion. And then this meet today is more of our sectional preview, much larger meet. We see the Springfield schools and all the metros, obviously, Jacksonville. A lot of the people we'll need to have to deal with late in the season are here today. So you get a good look at people.
As we look at your schedule, Coach, it's one of those deals where you're in Granite City today, Edwardsville Wednesday. You go to Peoria for that famous in-season cross-country meet up there late in September. How important is it, a school your size, to get out and run against those schools from the middle and northern part of the state to get ready for the postseason?
Well, with every program, you got to kind of have to set your sights and set what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. And we've always, before we divided things into more classes, 3 classes for cross country, and we're in the middle. I mean, we always competed and ran against the large schools, the Edwardsvilles and O'Fallons. I can remember when those guys would come up to me and they say, "One of these days, Coach, we're going to beat Mount Vernon. We're going. That's what we're working to do." And but we all compete against each other, and that's the beauty of cross country. If you can get a good set of kids, you can compete at any level, and it's fun that way. And we do go up to Peoria, and I think it's vital. We go to Springfield, we go to Peoria, because our aspirations to go to the state meet, and our sectional meets indicator. We got to know who we're running against, and you don't want things to be, like a shell shock to the kids when it comes that time of the season. So the more you can familiarize your kids to that level of competition, obviously, hopefully, the better the results are late in the year.
course, Coach, you do mention some of the kids. David Moddard, of course, took home that win on Wednesday at Murfreesboro. I saw a Han on the team, I saw a Pat, and I saw a lot of familiar Mount Vernon running names. Tell us a little bit about some of your kids running this year.
Well, David did have a good race. We purposely, as a group, just kind of, we didn't go out real hard in the first half mile. Just kind of set back and got in a rhythm first as a group, and things kind of shag out. We always talk about there's always pretenders, and then there are the contenders. Pretenders are always up front early, and the contenders are there late. We were able to put our top 5 into the top 10 of the race, which obviously makes for a pretty good team score. But just overall, we had a really, really good meet, with David up front. Brightel was our number 2. Jordan Wildman came up. He's like the tortoise that turns into the hare late. He just kind of sits back and comes on late, and he did that. Carson, who's more of a half-miler speed guy, hung right in there and did well. Jake Wilson ran really well for us. Then you look at a guy like Daniel Flood, who's just a young sophomore. He was right there with us, and I'm forgetting somebody, but I'll figure it out one of these days. And we just as a whole, we ran really well, I thought.
Going into the day, as you mentioned, the weather's changed. This is cross-country weather, obviously. Does your team change things, knowing it's not going to be a hard, dry track, but maybe a little wet and muddy? Do things change for them as far as running goes today?
Well, no. You can't use it as an excuse. We don't. Everybody's got to run the same course. You may sometimes, if it's a real muddy course, which today won't be. We're in Wilson Park here in Grant City, right back behind the high school. A lot of pavement, a lot of chipped gravel. It's going to be a solid course. If you do get into that kind of situation, though, where you've got a muddy course, you just put the longer spikes in your shoes. We've even taped the spikes onto the feet before, so you don't lose them in the mud. But you just go out and compete. Again, everybody's got to run the same course.
Everybody's got to run that same thing. Postseason this year, the IHSA kind of likes to meddle with things. Or are you okay and satisfied with what the IHSA has done as far as messing with cross country in the postseason?
Yeah. Well, and I heard Coach McClure last week. He was putting a little dig in on me because I'm always chirping about what the IHSA does, but because it seems like with us and like Centralia or Salem or somebody like that down south, they don't really know where to put us. They don't know if they want to bring us up to the north, east, west, south, whatever. And we don't know yet. Those sites haven't been posted, as far as I know, on the IHSA website. I check it early in the week. It may be there now, but I think they don't really put it on until after this week. But there are years they may not put it on until mid-season. And where I get chirpy is we want to know where we're running because we want to go run there. Last year they put us up at Mattoon. We've never ran in Mattoon. So I'm scrambling to get our guys up there in a meet. I mean, it's kind of hard to run fast if you don't know where you're going. And when you're on a cross-country course, you've got to have it in your head to what you're doing and what you're in for. So one of those vital things that you do as a coach, you get your kids on the course. And that's always my chirp with the sectional. And the last few years, they've put it up on a golf course in Decatur. And you don't get to run it. The only time you get to run that thing is the day of the meet. It helps if you've got experience on a course, and that's where I get upset. We've always said we'll go anywhere. I've talked to the officials at the IHSA, and I told them, I said, we'll go to the suburbs if we have to. We'll go anywhere. We just want to know where we're going and want to know early.
And that's important because you beat me to my point about, golf, you go out and play the course. Baseball, you might play a game at the regional facility. Cross-country, same way. And to me, and I want to hear your comment on this, cross-country is one of the most mentally tough sports to do because you're individually out there running. There's nobody out there but you, and having to know a course, kids can kind of give up. They don't know where the end is on an unfamiliar course.
You cannot run fast. One thing you can control, not a lot of things you can control, but one thing you can control is knowing the course. You can't control the weather. We don't worry about the weather. We just adapt and go do it. One thing you can control is what you eat in the morning and know the course that you're going to run. And it's kind of hard to be mentally fully attached to what you're trying to do if you don't know where you're going and have the experience of the course. So, yeah, you use the word vital. It is utmost important and vital to be able to know your course. So, and again, with the IHSA, that's always my little gripe. Just let us know.
You already have obviously your team's competing now going on. What if there's a youngster in the area or parents listening? What can they do or the kids do if they want to get interested and start running and be in a cross country program at Mount Vernon High School?
Run.
The obvious
Run.
answer, right? Run.
Yeah, and I deal with that a lot with kids. Hey, why is that kid so good, or how did he get so good? Because he's put the time and effort in, and it's not an easy sport. But I've always said, and I've had guys over the years that weren't your typical athlete, weren't a basketball player or a football player as a young kid, and taking kids that didn't compete in a lot of sports, but they were pretty smart. They had a good work ethic and tough, and if they'll put the time in, this is a sport that they can get good at. And then always the next question is, can they get a scholarship? Well, again, that's here and there, and that will be determined. That will shake itself out. But we had in grade school, our grade school system, everybody runs cross country, but it seems like the season gets shorter and shorter and shorter. And I chirp a little bit with that. I said, if we did track and cross country, or if we did it like they do basketball, we'd be fine. If we did basketball in our county like we do cross country and track now, there'd be a lot of people unhappy. Our seasons are so short. A lot of times it's, hey, let's get on the bus and go run a meet, and there's just not a lot of work going on with it. And it's hard work. It's tough. Because you got a lot of kids, and you got to get them organized, and you got to ask them to be committed. And with so many things going on now between summer this, summer baseball, summer soccer, it's tough. And this is one sport that takes some time. It really does take some time.
Coach, as you may be familiar with, we do ask kind of an off-the-wall question every week to all of our guests.
I'm good with those. I love them. Those are good.
I thought last week's was kind of better suited for you, and just because we all know, or at least everybody likes to discuss their habits as far as what they drink in the morning. I know you're a big Mountain Dew guy, but this week we kind of shift gears. It hasn't rained on us in nearly forever, so this week's question of the week is, when it rains outside, what do you like to do? Like, what do you do on a rainy day?
What do I do on a rainy day?
It's been a while.
That's a good question. Let's see. If there's, I hate to say I'm a lazy guy and I'll sit down in front of the television, but I love to sit and watch baseball. I mean, I very easily, if it's not rained out, if it's raining, I can watch baseball. But a lot of times we find something to do as a family. We'll go find something to do with the kids. Between my wife and myself, we got so many things going on all the time. That usually is something that we can do, and whether it's indoors or what, spend time there. But yeah, I'm pretty good at sitting down and watching all 9 innings of a ball game.
Well, and you're a Yankee guy. How did you feel about that Red Sox trade?
Wow, that's like I wouldn't say they threw in the towel, but definitely they've changed their approach to things. And I always say, I'm a Cardinal fan and I'm a closet Yankee fan, and I thought if the Cardinals ever folded and went away, I'd probably be a Dodger fan. That was huge for them. My goodness, wow. So who knows?
Exactly.
See if it pays off for them.
Well, we'll certainly see it over the course of the rest of the season. But Coach Turner, thank you very much for joining us today, and good luck to the Running Rams at Granite City.
Thanks. Hey, appreciate your time and getting our results on the radio in the morning. And I know a lot of people comment to me that that's one of their good ways of knowing what's going on with our program. So I appreciate the help there, too.
And thank you for sending that in to us, because we also like to stick that on our sports Facebook page and everything of that nature as well, so we appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, guys.
That's Clint Turner, head coach of the Running Rams, Mount Vernon Rams cross-country team. They opened up Wednesday. They won the Murfreesboro Invitational. David Monitor, of course, took home the first-place prize there, as well as 5 Running Rams in the top 10. That is just impressive. You can see the results on our Facebook page, facebook.com/WMIX Sports. We have Jared Shaner still to come here on the Saturday Sports Show. We also need to get in a scoreboard from last night if we can at some point here. We'll work on that as well. But you heard him, and the rainy day thing is going to be a hot topic today, just because people are going to struggle to think about what they do on rainy days because it's been so long. But let's run down last night's scores.
Last night's scores, your Mount Vernon opponents this year. SHG beat Rochester 29-26. Next week's opponent, Triad, beat Collinsville 43-33. Belleville West shut out Althoff 35-0. Marion over Mattoon 43-21. Of course, Thursday night, Carbondale beat Heron 60-20. Centralia beat Bethalto in a late one last night 14-13. And Mount Carmel beat Mount Vernon, Indiana 38-19. Cahokia will host Alton Monday at 1 p.m. So if you're keeping track of playoff points last night, Mount Vernon got 6 points last night with one game left to go. Regional scores, Harrisburg over DuQuoin 7-6. Callaway County, Kentucky beat Massac 43-28. Pinckneyville over Frankfort 14-6. St. Joe Ogden over Carterville 50-14. Mater Dei beat Nashville 46-zip. Westclin over Redbud 8-0. Freeburg over Carlisle 7-6. Waterloo over Columbia 21-14. Highland over Mount Zion 35-8. Breeze Central over DuPont 35-19. PBL beat Effingham 30-22. Black Diamond Chester over Setzer, Valera, Waltonville, Woodlawn 25-0. El Dorado over CZR 22-13. And of course, from Thursday night, Fairfield beat El Dorado Trico 42-8. Rescheduled games: Carmi at Johnston City for Monday at 6:30. Monday at 6:30 is Vienna at Hamilton County, with the Eagles leading Hamilton County 12-3 in the second quarter. And one score of note from the state: Villa Grove beat Danville Schlarman last night 82-6.
Yikes. That was not a good night for somebody.
No, there was some discussion from people in Villa Grove that did not like what was going on, people I talked to last night. So anyway.
Well, there we have it. Of course, that's your scoreboard from last night. We'll revisit that, of course, again throughout the program today. This is the Saturday Sports Show. It's presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
When we come back, we'll have Jared Shaner, head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams, here on WMIX and MyWithersRadio.com. Back after these.
Have you ever been traveling out of town and realized you needed cash? Using another bank's ATM can cost you a few extra dollars in fees to get the cash you need. Well, not anymore. People's National Bank introduces MoneyPass. MoneyPass allows you to use over 23,000 additional ATMs in the United States without any fees. Stop by People's National Bank. Visit peoplesnationalbank.com or moneypass.com to find out more information. People's National Bank, providing our customers the highest quality products and services since 1909. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital. With our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, the entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, MyWithersRadio.com. Glad to have you with us, courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
In studio this morning, a little bit overcast outside. No rains to report as of yet here in downtown Mount Vernon for the WMIX studios. 25 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour. We're proud to welcome to the program head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams, Jared Shaner. His team last night fell in a tough one to Mascoutah on the road, 16-8. Coach, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Obviously wish it could be a better morning. Last night, I think, just from the get-go, just had the feel to be one of those nights. I mean, we had the lightning delay initially from the start. They ignored the radar completely and got out there to warm up, then had another lightning delay after lightning delay after lightning delay. Finally get it started a little bit after the 8 o'clock hour, and can't say I've ever been a part of a football game in a tropical depression. I guess now I can, but last night was certainly a sight to behold.
Yeah, it was coming down pretty hard there for a while, and yeah, unfortunately, it was I think a sloppy game all the way around. A lot of turnovers and some penalties, and we were a player or two away from feeling much better about ourselves this morning.
Seemed that last night, some improvements, some good things. The defense, I thought, played really well last night, was put in some very tough situations, having to be on the field for a long time. And two, I think your offensive line did a pretty good job last night opening holes for running backs. Your thoughts on the defense and the offensive line?
Yeah, I thought our defense was much improved last night. We let 5 get loose a couple times, but that's what happens when you're a good athlete and they have good schemes and things like that. We made a few plays defensively, got the ball back to our offense, and like you said, unfortunately, we just couldn't get anything going offensively last night. We moved the ball at times, but it just wasn't quite as crisp and clear as what I would like it to be. They kind of switched defenses from a 40 to a 50 a couple times, so we made some adjustments and just could never really get anything consistently going.
How much did the weather factor in? I mean, I know you guys prepared for it playing with some wet footballs on Thursday in practice, but how much did it really affect the game as it won last night? Because it rained early but didn't rain as much toward the end of the game.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that it affected it. But I don't know. It was the same for both teams. And that being said, I mean, I think they had 4 or maybe 5 fumbles, and we had several fumbles as well. So it was just kind of a sloppy game all the way around.
And you know me, as I like to say, once the sun comes up on the next day, the game's over, it's done, you go back and you learn from it. Next week, Triad, week 3 on the road again. What do you know about Triad at this early stage of the day?
They're 1-1. Last night they beat Collinsville, I believe it was. They've got a really good senior running back who's been running for them for a couple of years, med-ed kid. There's no surprises with Triad, that's for sure. Coach Bassley's been there for quite a while, and they do the same things year in and year out, and they're good at them. They went 9-0 last year. I think they were 9-0 the year before that. A playoff team for I don't know how many of the last years, probably 10 or so, I would guess. So, you know what you're getting. It's just a matter of lining up and trying to stop it and trying to move the ball on them.
Well, in Triad, team historically has always been an option team and always had a quarterback that was really good at perfecting the option. And throughout the years, that's something that I don't want to say has been an issue in Mount Vernon defending, but it's definitely not easy at the high school level to defend the option when a team is good at it. How do you go about that preparation against the option? Because there's just something about it that seems to be tough for so many teams to defend at the high school level.
Yeah, it is. And they are good at it. And last year, if you think back to our game, they had 2 scores in the first 2.5 quarters, and one was a kickoff return, and one was an option play that was actually kind of a broken play. We did a nice job tackling the fullback, and the quarterback pulled it at the last minute and ran, I think it was 74 yards or something for a touchdown. So definitely creates a set of difficulties. I have a couple coaching buddies who are option guys, so I've talked to them, and you have to attempt to take away their best things. So you have to give them looks and give them reads that put the ball in, I guess, the least of your worries' hands. So that's what we'll attempt to do.
Well, and going into Triad on the road next Friday night, obviously we know the weather's going to be a bit different. Have you ever had to play in the remnants of a hurricane before? We were talking about it last night. I don't remember if it was a hurricane, but when I was at Lincoln, it's probably been 3, possibly 4 years ago now. We played a Week 9 game that was probably similar, or maybe even a little harder rain than last night for portions of the game. And you get done with the game, and there's not there's not a dry part on you, and you're soaked to the bone, and that's kind of the way last night was. Well, just one of those nights that it was just very soggy, and that definitely played into the game last night. But going into Triad next week, we look forward to that one. But, Coach, I know you're busy today. I know you're headed somewhere at the moment or just got in your vehicle. What is on the docket today? I mean, do you have to trade films with Triad today, or is that something where I know you use this huddle program now or something along that ilk? How do you go about trading films with Triad today?
Well, it's all internet-based, so it's kind of takes the travel out of it for the most part. So yeah, this morning, of course, as a coach, you stay up late and don't sleep a lot, wins and losses. But we've watched all our film. I've begun the trading process with Triad, and they'll hopefully finish that up sometime this morning. The kids are getting ready to come in. We're going to watch our film from last night, and then they get to go home for the day, and coaches stay and begin preparation for Triad this coming week.
Of course, you know it's coming. It's our WMIX Sports social media question of the week. Last week it's what do you drink in the morning, win or loss? But this week it's going to be on a rainy day. It's been so long since we've had one. I know a lot of people are going to have to think hard on this. What do you like to do on a rainy day?
What do I like to do or what do I do?
How about both?
Okay. I would love to just go home and lay on the couch and maybe curl up and watch some college football today. On a nice rainy day and just watch the rain out the window. Unfortunately, that's probably not what I'm going to be doing. And I say unfortunately, I love my job, but I'll be putting in lots of long hours and hard work today. Hopefully, getting us ready to have a more positive conversation next Saturday.
Coach, obviously, we wish you the best of luck in your preparation, and we will definitely see you Friday night on the road at Troy.
Thanks, guys.
That's Coach Jared Shaner, head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams, and unfortunately an 0-2 team right now, but hoping that can be 1-2 Friday night. Your pregame will be at 6:40 here on WMIX. We'll have video, much better video, on mywithersradio.com. Of course, if you watched last night, we'll have the archive up shortly. Unfortunately, what had become tropical depression, Isaac. Obviously, he was a hurricane at one time because he got the name. He got a name as tropical storm. Anyhow, all that aside, the semantics of how that all works. Pushed inside. Had to film through a window. They turned the lights on us, and it'll get better next week. We do promise you that with our video on mywithersradio.com. So we certainly hope that you'll take that in next week. If not, go to the game, support the Rams, or listen right here on your radio on WMIX. Speaking of which, we do need to take a break. We'll have Jason Roper of the Harrisburg Bulldogs coming. We'll talk about his team's 7-6 win over the DuQuoin Indians last night. You won't want to miss that. The sports show presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Service continues at Second Chance Auto. They've been providing quality cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs for families like yours for over 32 years, and many are priced under $10,000, plus most have a 3-month or 3,000-mile warranty. Bank rate financing available with instant approval. No gimmicks, no pressure, just honest deals on great vehicles from your friends and neighbors at Second Chance Auto, living and contributing back to the community they serve. Located on Route 142 East in Mount Vernon, or call 244-4582. The Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois proudly welcomes Dr. Brian Steinke to their medical staff. Dr. Steinke earned his medical degree at the University of Illinois in Chicago and has degrees in anatomy and physiology from UC Berkeley, and he brings prestigious credentials to the center. Dr. Steinke is a gifted physician and contributor to orthopedic textbooks. Call 618-242-3778 or visit their informative website at orthocenter-si.com.
Rend Lake College's Adult Volunteer Literacy Program is looking for volunteers to help stop adult illiteracy. Give the gift of reading and be a hero forever. RLC will provide you with training and materials to help adults develop the basic reading ability needed to excel. You can work one-on-one, tutor a small group, or work with students in an adult education classroom. Experience the joy of helping others and change a life. Call RLC's Volunteer Partnership toll-free at 800-369-5321, extension 1342, 800-369-5321, extension 1342.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, mywithersradio.com. Of course, as we try to connect with Harrisburg Bulldogs head coach Jason Roper. His team 2-0. They got a win over Mount Carmel week 1. They got a win last night over DuQuoin 7-6. I believe that was on the road on the turf at DuQuoin, if I recall correctly. We'll get you a scoreboard here in just a moment as we work to connect with Jason Roper. Let's go ahead and get to that scoreboard now, get some scores from last night. Of course, a couple of games we played today and Monday.
Rams opponents from this year: SHG over Rochester 29-26, Triad over Collinsville 43-33, Belleville West over Althoff 35-0, Marion over Mattoon 43-21, Carbondale over Heron 60-20, Centralia over Bethalto 14-13, and Mount Carmel over Mount Vernon, Indiana 38-19. Cahokia will host Alton on Monday at 1 p.m. Harrisburg over DuQuoin 7-6. Callaway County, Kentucky beat Massac 43-28. Pinckneyville over Frankfort 14-6. St. Joe Ogden beat Carterville 50-14. Mater Dei over Nashville 46-0. Westland over Redbud 8-0. Freeburg over Carlisle 7-6. PBL over Effingham 30-22. Black Diamond Chester over the Red Devils of Cesarville Waltonville Woodlawn 25-0. El Dorado beats CZR to go to 2-0 22-13. Fairfield over El Dorado Trico 42-8. Carmine Johnston City is rescheduled for Monday at 6:30. They'll start from the beginning. And starting in the second quarter on Monday night will be Vienna at Hamilton County, with Vienna leading 12-3 in that ballgame.
There you have. There's a list of your scores from last night. Harrisburg Bulldogs scores 2-0. Many expected them coming into the season in the River to River, Ohio, to maybe be tops in that conference. We got to see Heron on Thursday night against Carbondale. We'll talk more about that a little bit later in the program. But the Bulldogs have a tough stretch of their schedule. Actually, this is the toughest stretch of their schedule. I believe Marion this week.
At Marion, Marion's 2-0. Harrisburg's 2-0. One of two matchups at least in the area I know of that'll be 2-0 matchups. Besides also Benton at Pinckneyville today, next Friday as well.
Well, and definitely a lot of great action getting ready to happen over the course of this coming week, and we're still working to try to hook up with Jason Roper, the Harrisburg Bulldogs, talk a little bit about his team, a little bit about the expectations, of course. Had him on a few weeks ago on our Saturday Sports Show football preview for the River Conference. If you missed that one, you can find it on our archives, mywithersradio.com, the WMIX website. Look for the sports tab, find our archive broadcast. You'll find the Saturday Sports Show amongst those listed. So we certainly have that to look forward to. We'll also put last night's football game up there. The video from Mascuda will go to YouTube after the Saturday Sports Show today. So we'll try to get Jeff Roper. I understand we are working at that actively and almost have him. So we are looking forward to Coach Roper here on the Saturday Sports Show. Timing-wise, it should work out just about perfectly once we get him transferred over and into the hotline. So we look forward to that here on the Saturday Sports Show. Joined now by Jason Roper, head coach of the Harrisburg Bulldogs, 2-0 on the year, atop the Ohio, of course. Of course, anybody that's undefeated right now in non-conference would be. But we do welcome head coach Jason Roper. Coach Roper, good morning.
Good morning.
You know what? Last night you go on the road to the turf in DuQuoin. You had a nice win over Mount Carmel week 1. You win a close one, 7-6. How do you feel right now, 2-0?
Feel good. You know, last night was we played pretty much a monsoon. I mean, we didn't have a situation where we had a lot of mud, but you know, it was raining so hard at one time it was, you know, you couldn't hardly see out there. So, you know, I thought our kids handled it well. I thought both teams played great. You know, it was back and forth, and neither team could really sustain a drive just because of the weather. I thought with fumbled snaps and different things. So, you know, and it was tough throwing the ball. So both teams were running at each other, and that's about all you could do. And we were lucky enough to come away with a win.
And you lucky enough, did you have any delays last night, or did you get the game in on time?
You know, we didn't. I thought, you know, for the most part, the Thunder and Lightning held off, and it was a pretty quick game because, like I said, both teams were running at each other, and I thought the officials did a good job of keeping the game moving, and you know, we pretty much didn't have any problems.
With this game, shutout at halftime, scoreless for both teams. The only touchdowns were one in the third by your team and one in the fourth by DuQuoin. In a battle like this between these two teams over the years, and you've won 4 in a row, that's hard to believe, not from the Harrisburg football standpoint, but when you go over and beat DuQuoin now twice in 4 years on our home field, that says a lot about your program. It has to feel good.
Well, you know, I think our kids understand their tradition, and we're very similar in styles and success that we've had. You know, I was, you know, I'm so impressed with Coach Martin and what he's done at DuQuoin, and you know, their enrollment keeps dropping, and their facility is just incredible over there. It's the first time I've seen it last night. You know, I walked away from there thinking, you know, what a testament to him, you know, for what he's done there. Not necessarily how many wins he has, but you know, he's just an incredible man. If you ever get to know him, and you know, the lives of the young people that he's touched in DuQuoin is just staggering. I mean, it's really unbelievable, and you know, I got so much respect for him. You know, he's really an incredible man.
You look at your team, you know, the kids, everybody knows the name, Roper, Henshaw, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Your kids go over there. Now they've beaten Mount Carmel, now beaten DuQuoin. How hard is it? Are these kids kind of kids, okay, that game's done, we got another one coming, or they get kind of too high, too low with things? How does your team deal with that?
I think every once in a while you have a group of kids that, maybe they're 2 and 3 sport athletes, and you get a different sense from them that they're extremely competitive. Not just those names you mentioned, but there's some kids there that have had some success when they were younger, whether it be basketball or football or baseball, but they've had some success in sports, and they come from sports-minded families who have a lot of discipline in their family, and they want to do well. And I think this group that we have is one of them. So I think they'll put that one away and they'll move on to the next one. Our kids are excited about playing Marion. Marion's a team that and a program that is a lot like Mount Carmel and DuQuoin. They're very well coached, and they've had a lot of success, and we have a lot of respect for them. And our kids were excited last night to hear that they were they won. They're 2-0, and we're 2-0, and I think our kids are excited about playing somebody every week. I tell our kids we want to be game of the week every week, and that's we want to play a tough enough schedule that we get really, really nervous before we put our pads on. So we're excited about week 3, going to Marion, playing Marion, who's 2-0, and they're double our size, playing in a bigger conference and a tougher schedule, and we're excited about competing against them.
Speaking of competing against them, I know the contract that was signed with Harrisburg and Marion was a dandy. Is there thoughts of keeping that series going for a while, or are both teams kind of looking to go separate ways?
It's tough to say. That's one of those deals where it's hard for us to find somebody to play. Everybody's trying to get 5 wins and dropping people left and right. The IHSA won't do anything about it. So, and we can't get the people in our conference to cross over and play, which is hard to believe that we're in a conference that won't play each other. But and I blame our side just as much as the other side for that, because we have people on our side that are dropping teams on the other side trying to get 5 wins. So I think it's a situation where we're kind of strapped on who we can find to play, and we're not in a situation where we're going to want to drive 2 or 3 hours to play somebody to try to get 5 wins. So we're going to drive 25 minutes over here and play a team that's very, very competitive, and hopefully our kids will rise to the occasion and play well. Well,
I got an idea. If they would let you and I and a couple others solve this problem, we'd have the IHSA set for football, wouldn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I wish they would listen to the people that are actually playing on Friday night, and not other people who are not involved in football. So maybe they'll do that at some point, and we can get some kind of system that's fair.
Are you willing, as a Steelers fan with your brother, being a Steelers fan, willing to work with me, being a Cowboys fan, though, on this?
Sure, yeah. That's it. If I'm getting it done with high school football and in our current situation and schedule, I'll work with anybody.
Hey, we got one more question for you.
Okay.
That's that social media question we ask all the time when you're on here. This week's question is, because it hasn't rained a lot here lately in recent months, we're going to ask you, what do you like to do on a rainy day?
Today, the nice thing about today is college football starts. So, hopefully I'm going to be able to rest here. And we don't have school on Monday, so we've got a holiday there, so hopefully we're going to rest a little bit and watch some college football.
Is there a particular game you're looking forward to today or tonight?
Not really. Who's Michigan play?
Oh, I said we. Sorry. Now
you know where in his pocket.
Now you. I've got a mouse in my pocket with Michigan with we. Michigan plays Alabama at Cowboy Stadium tonight.
There you go. All right. We got some guys on our staff that are Alabama fans, kind of front runners. So we'll be talking about that one.
Coach, I know you're a busy man, but I want to take the time to thank you for joining us today here on the Saturday Sports Show. Congratulations on 2-0, and we look forward to having you on again this season. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
That is Jason Roper, head coach of the Harrisburg Bulldogs, and 2-0 on the season. They have a tough one against Marion next week, and that's certainly a game we'll be keeping an eye on with our famous scoreboard updates during our broadcast. Of course, Rams football is on the road at Triad. 6:40 will be your pregame on Friday night. We'll have it for you here on WMIX with video on mywithersradio.com. We need to take a break. When we come back, it'll be Jeremy Clodfelder with the Benton Rangers, his team 2-0 to start the year. It's on the Saturday Sports Show next. It's presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
You wait all year to hear these words. Are you ready for some football? Dale's helps you put your hands around this season with a free Harley-Davidson football. Hi, this is Matt Watercutty from Dale's Harley-Davidson. Come on into Dale's now through September 1st and be the first to receive a Dale's Harley-Davidson football Thursday through Sunday. We're selling 30 bikes in 30 hours. Plus, with a bike purchase, you'll have a chance to win a 2008 Pegasus scooter. Come for the live music Friday night till 9 p.m. Saturday, free tacos in a bag until they're gone. And free drinks. Save 20% off handlebars, 20% off men's and women's tank tops and shorts. Plus, now, through the 31st, get up to a $4,000 gift card with the purchase of a new 2012 Harley-Davidson. Dale's Harley-Davidson, the longest-running Harley dealer in Southern Illinois, just off I-57 on North 44th Street in Mount Vernon. Call 618-244-4116. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or visit us at dales-hd.com.
Nothing, baby.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital with our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge. The entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, mywithersradio.com. We're overjoyed to have you with us on an overcast Saturday morning, 48 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour, or 12 to the 9, however you like to look at that. This is the Saturday Sports Show. How about it's presented by Crossroads Community Hospital? It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
If you are going to the Salem football game today, it has now been moved up. Clifton Central at Salem will be played at 1 o'clock today.
What was it, 2? 5? 8? I don't know. You got distracted.
I did. I got distracted with Broadway traffic.
Too late now.
Yeah, Salem, I think that was a late afternoon, maybe evening game.
Well, the point is now it's at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Distracted with Broadway. You never know what's going to drive by on Broadway.
We welcome to the program Jamie Clodfelder of the Benton Rangers. Coach Claude, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
You know what, doing pretty good, but how do you feel, 2-0 on the season?
Well, I mean, happy, and don't have to worry about trying to figure out how to get a game in today. Didn't have to stand out in the rain and at least work last night and coach. We went and worked and scouted some people and got our eyes on some folks, but it's nice to just, be 2-0, fairly relaxed. We let our kids have yesterday afternoon completely off, and we're getting ready to bring them in here in a few minutes and watch some tape.
Hey, you were the second one in line that I knew of that moved your game up to Thursday. What kind of went into that decision as far as moving your game up to Thursday evening?
Well, obviously we got the idea from Carbondale, and Heron did it first, but I think you do it for a couple of reasons. One, you never would like to have a short week, and that was kind of a rush short week. But we had to matter-of-factly look at the schedule and know that we didn't want to be threatened by a short week with a really good Pinckneyville football team next week. And even past that, we're kind of looking at the weather coming in, and obviously having a grass field, a really good facility, and we really, really like it. But we didn't want a week 2, first home game of the year, playing that rain and that downpour last night, and you tear that Bermuda grass up, it's not coming back till next spring, and we didn't want to destroy it this early in the process.
Speaking of that game, one of the wildest games that we had heard of, 62-40. Did you guys have helmets on? Was it 7-on-7, or was just two teams going at it with some good football players on both sides?
Well, it was a little bit of both. I'll be honest with you. It was a weird night, without question. The freshman game went about 2 hours, so we played that prior to, and it really was extended. And then we had a power outage deal where a transformer, a phase, and that's way above my head, but something went out, and there was about 130, 150 people affected by it in Benton, and it happened to be the high school. And we had play clocks. We didn't have a scoreboard. We had nothing in the press box. We had nothing. I was tying my shoes, getting ready for pregame, and the power went off in the locker room. It was just kind of a weird night. There was a 45-minute delay for a young man from Sparta who's okay, to my knowledge. Wait for an ambulance to get him off the field and those type of things. They had to backboard him and so on and so forth. So if it could be delayed and it could go wrong, boy, it did the other night. In terms of the football game, they cut it to 22-15 in the second quarter, and it was they've got some really good football players. I think Joe Beavis is going to do a tremendous job there if they're patient and they stay the course. They've got some really athletic players. The Lockhart kid that moved in and transferred, he is a baller. I mean, you always worry about guys that have some speed that can, if you don't keep them inside and front and they get to the edge, it's over. He's kind of the whole package. He's got speed, he's got size, he's powerful, he runs, he doesn't tap out, he swings it up in there and plays like a heat-seeking missile. He is really, really, really talented. They've got about 3 or 4 of those guys that are really dangerous. In years past, since I've been here, they'd kind of have one of those guys that, boy, he could make your night really miserable if you don't take care of him and play really disciplined. And anytime you get a football team that's got 3 or 4 of them cats, it can make things very interesting.
Speaking of good football players, and the group last year that graduated was an amazing little group. Through 2 games this year, it seems that your current crop of Rangers are making a statement for themselves with 2 impressive wins in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Well, I think that that's part of the deal. I think that they've risen to the challenge, and we've challenged them. And I think they have something internally that you can't always provide. Also, they're a blue collar group of guys. There's no superstars on our football team. They're just kind of all a group of guys that just want to play together. And I think that they kind of have a mindset that they want to go out and prove to people that it's not over. While we respect the program, we talk about that on a daily basis. You always play for the people who came before you, because if they did it right, then they're part of the tradition. And you try and play to set the bar for the people that are going to follow you. And if you do it right, then the next person's going to come in and play for you. While we talk about that, I think every team has its own identity, and this group is determined and passionate about proving to people that they can continue and keep it going forward.
You have that program going forward, and I compliment you and your staff on that. I was talking with Ryan Miller the other day about that. You go into next week, 2nd year in a row, 2-0. 2nd year in a row, I believe Pinckneyville's 2-0 coming into this game. A big matchup on the turf next week at Pinckneyville. They saw you, you saw them last 2 nights. What do you know about the Panthers, and what do you expect from them?
Well, they've taken major steps, I really think they've taken major steps. I think they have a good football program. I think Todd and his staff do a really good job. Won their first Mississippi Division game or championship last year. I just think they do a really, really good job. They're typically big, physical kids. They've got a big running back, big fullback. They've got some athletic receivers. The quarterback's really talented. I didn't remember him from the sophomore level like maybe some people talk. I knew that they had a good sophomore, but he's a good-looking kid. He runs very well. He really swings it very well. I liked him. In the rain last night, they didn't shy away. They went empty and gun, and he was putting balls in places that weren't at times, but should have been probably caught, and weather can be a determining factor in that. But he was swinging them in there, and I was really, really impressed with him. Defensively, I think they get to the ball. I think they're very sound. They're, for the most part, they're a disciplined deal. It was 14-6 last night, and you got to look at the weather. While you got to be bigger than that, it was the weather for both teams, but it was their first game on the turf. I'm sure that turf was probably a little bit slick in the process, but it's going to be it'll probably be one of the marquee games, I'd say, in Southern Illinois, besides the Marion Harrisburg game also.
Speaking of that turf, 2 games of this week on your schedule out of 3 will be on turf. How long do you get to the turf at Pinckneyville next week and you turn your AD and go, it'd be nice to have some of this stuff at our place, wouldn't it?
Well, I think that's a decision that has to go through the course, and that's got to be something that's in the works years in advance. And I really like our grass field. I think we have a unique stadium. I think we have a great facility. I like football on grass. Obviously, in situations like last night, it would benefit you to have turf because you wouldn't tear the thing up, especially that kind of early in the year. But while it's pretty and it's nice, I don't think I would change. I don't think I would change the carnivalistic atmosphere, if you would, that we've kind of bred. It's kind of becoming a little culture at Tabor Field, and people like to pull up to the field and tailgate, and it's a pretty good atmosphere that I wouldn't want to lose or have to change because of the idea or thought of bringing in turf.
You head in next week, obviously last non-conference game before Carlisle Week 9. The Ohio Division, Harrisburg good, Heron can score some points. Frankfurt's improving. You guys are getting better. Murphy's going to be tough. Your next 5 weeks in Ohio Division, not counting next week, obviously, is going to be really tough, isn't it?
Well, I think that's why it's important to get out of the gate strong, And we play pretty good non-conference. Like I said, Sparta has some tremendous athletes, and I think they're going to continue to be better if they go through the process properly. Carterville's a tradition. It's a football school in Southern Illinois that when you think of it and you hear about 618 football, Carterville's one of those that has come to mind. And then Pinckneyville, I believe is becoming a very solid football program. So you play those 3 games out of the gate, you got to get out of there 2-1. I mean, if not 3-0, because you're going to go into Ohio Division play. It's going to be very physical. It's going to be very competitive. It's got good players. It's got great coaches, in my opinion. I think you got to get the most you can out of those 3 first non-conference games, because it's not going to get any easier over the course of the next 5.
We have one final question for you. It's our WMIX social media question of the week. And since it hasn't rained a bunch here in the last few months, we're asking the question this week is, what do you like to do on a rainy day?
Well, I like to hang out with my daughter. We play a little game on the floor, and Chutes and Ladders has kind of been that's been the favorite of lately. We kind of go through our rotation between Chutes and Ladders and Sequence and a little Toy Story Yahtzee. So it's nice to have that opportunity to take a deep breath and do that, especially this weekend with the game in the bag already. And like I said, we'll watch tape with our kids and then kind of have a little bit of relaxation day before I get on the tape and hang out with the people that you don't really get to see a whole lot this time of year.
Do you actually play fair when you do this, or do you have to win every game?
Well, believe it or not, I really like to win, but my daughter's 4, and she has the same mentality. And we had to quit playing games about a month or so ago because I happened to get lucky and win in a Candyland game, and she picked up the pieces and threw them across the room. So, unfortunately, I think maybe she's going to have some of her daddy's competitiveness and temper, but I don't know if that's always so bad. People that have a desire and want to win at everything they do, that's probably a quality characteristic. Maybe just have to learn how to handle some things differently.
Got to get them started early, Coach. I think that's great.
That's right.
Good luck, Coach. Good luck to the Rangers on Friday night, and we certainly look forward to talking to you again throughout the season. Thanks for taking the time to join us.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
That is Jeremy Clodfelder, head coach of the Benton Rangers, and you know what? They are 2-0 heading into 2-0 Pinckneyville, and 2 friends of the program getting ready to battle it out next Friday night. That should definitely be a dandy of a matchup. It is the top of the hour. We'll go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll have WMIX sports correspondent John Shadowens. We'll talk about some of the games and some of the action he has seen this week, including Carbondale-Heron, which was Thursday night. So that's coming up here on the Saturday Sports Show, presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Under the hood, under the skin, or in the cabin, Ford Mustang features an impressive list of high-tech features. Hi, Roy Schmidt, Ford dealer, Ford Square, Mount Vernon. From the available track apps for performance metrics to Ford Sync technology to an impressive lineup of engines, nobody does brains and brawn like the Mustang. Right now, you can own a Mustang V6 Coupe with 0% financing for up to 60 months. Or, how about the fuel-efficient Ford Fiesta? With unsurpassed in its class highway mile per gallon, the Fiesta is fuel-efficient and fun. Combined with the Ford Tune suspension, electric power-assisted steering, and advanced track electronic stability control, Fiesta provides an agile and exhilarating experience. Come see one of our sales associates and drive away in the Mustang, Fiesta, or any Ford and Lincoln model. New or pre-owned at Ford Square, 1501 Broadway, Mount Vernon, online at fordsquare.com, and find us on Facebook.
This is WMIX, Mount Vernon, Marion, another Withers Broadcasting Station.
Are you interested in a career in the culinary arts but can never afford the high cost of cooking school? Rend Lake College has a low-cost recipe for success. For as little as $5,500 per year, you can get a quality culinary arts education in your own backyard. That even includes books, tuition, class fees, and supplies. Learn to master domestic fare, pastry, and foreign cuisine in Ina, Illinois. Save thousands on a culinary arts education at Rend Lake College. For more information, log on to rlc.edu/culinary arts.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital. With our 30 minutes or or less ER service pledge. The entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
Welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show just past the top of the hour here at WMIX, MyWithersRadio.com. Glad to have you with us, courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Glad to welcome to the program our WMIX sports correspondent, John Shadowens. Of course, he took in a game Thursday, allegedly. Can't confirm nor deny that just yet, but we also know that he tried to take in a game last night. Coach, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
You know what? Obviously, we know you took in a game Thursday. We were there, Carbondale, Heron. It was nice. I know I don't usually get the opportunity. I now kind of see what you're doing, and I now kind of see what makes it so fun just to kind of go out and be able to watch a high school football game. And I really thought starting out Thursday night, we start out seeing a great football game.
Well, I agree with you. I thought up front, Aaron won the battle, and you don't say that very often when the team ends up losing by 40 points. But, you know, how hot did Hoffman get there in the second quarter? I mean, he put the guys on his back, and he literally made that game a blowout there in the second quarter.
Well, what amazed me is Hoffman was basically just able to go sling whatever he wanted, and Reno Gibson and or Bursey were just able to somehow catch up to it and just run it in the end zone. And I think that was the thing that kind of flabbergasted me and flummoxed me a little bit, is typically not used to seeing that out of a high school kid, and knowing that they probably aren't going to be able to do that the entire season, but for one night, whatever he threw, they were able to catch, and they were able to make it count against a Heron team that looked like they might be able to hang with and or overtake the Terriers early.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Is that a once-in-a-lifetime performance? You know, we don't know. We'll see what he does next week and in the next few weeks. But he sure was impressive, especially in the second quarter there Thursday night. And, you know, it didn't have the feel of a 40-point game, did it? It was. I thought up front that it was a stalemate, and Heron really stuffed them most of the night in their running game. And, you know, in Southern Illinois, you've got to be able to run the football to win usually.
In a situation like that, you've been there as a coach where you go in with a game plan such as Carbondale did, trying to run the football early, and then having to make the switch to change completely the direction they were going in. Talk about being on both sides of that, where offensively you get stopped, have to change direction, and or defensively where you stop the initial plan, and then all of a sudden things start going downhill, kind of like Heron did, where they couldn't do anything with the passing game.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's not very often that you have to go to Plan B, and then Plan B turns out to be far superior to Plan A. You could tell that Carbondale's idea going into that football game, they were going to establish the run, they were going to mix in some play action. And, buddy, Heron just stole the first two possessions. Heron was up to the task, and so they had to go to Plan B. And even though I thought the Heron kids' coverage was decent, you know, they mixed their coverages up. They played little man, played little zone. They did what they could against Hoffman, put a little pressure on him, but he just had one of those nights, and it turned out Plan B worked.
Plan B did work. Carbondale very impressive in getting that win. And Heron, I think, though, even though they lost, and obviously Heron's a 4A, Carbondale a 5A, 6A kind of school, do you think that Heron's going to be a pretty good fit and pretty good season in the Ohio Division?
I think they are because, you know, what everybody's saying is the Ohio's down a little bit. Not saying there's not some quality football teams there, and we know that Harrisburg is a quality football team. But, you know, right now it's a good year. If you're going to have a year like Heron where you're playing a lot of new kids and only have a starter or two back, it's a good year for that because I think Heron can compete with anybody else on their schedule.
Last night, everybody played, went somewhere. Some played, some didn't. Some started, some got stopped. Where did you go last night to try to get a game in?
Well, I was sitting in the metal bleachers in Johnson City when the Lightning came, so I got out of there pretty quick. And waited until, of course, they called it. I guess they're going to make that up at 6:30 on Monday. So at that point, I wasn't anywhere in proximity to make it to a game in time to see the meaningful part. So I came home and fired up the internet, got the radio going, and kept up with 3 or 4 games and enjoyed myself that way.
Johnson City's football facility, you were there at least for part of it, but how would you describe it to listeners who haven't been down or haven't seen pictures of it?
Well, it's an absolute palace for a school that size. I would compare it very favorably to Carterville and their facility. They had a really nice ceremony last night, a ribbon cutting with with board members and students and some past dignitaries there. It was a really nice night until the lightning and the thunder broke things up.
Plans today, plans Monday for games in the high school level since there are several in the area?
You know what? This is like Christmas weekend, isn't it? You have varsity football on Thursday night. Had a few games last night. You wake up this morning, there's live college football already on the tube. You know, it's a lot of fun for a football fanatic. And I'm kind of waiting out and seeing what that decision in AJ is going to be. That might be a good ball game to go down and finish down there in the Union County.
Well, see, that's kind of the decision-making I'm waiting on, is to see what they're going to do. It looks to me they might have to play through some rain, but it looks to me like they might be able to get in. I bet there will be a lot of interested parties down there at AJ, don't you?
I think so. I think it'll be a coaches' convention down there if they get to play. I think they're looking at 2 p.m. if they can get it in. I guess they're going to rely on the radar and some expert opinions, but they hope to get that in today.
Speaking of this weekend and the Bonanza, of course, you know what I'll be back home and doing tonight at 7, but college football begins this weekend. Notre Dame's playing some military academy, so they can get a win this morning right now. Any particular game tonight, tomorrow, Monday that you're looking forward to college football-wise?
Well, probably the same one that you're looking forward to. You're going to be using a lot of first-person pronouns, I think, tonight. Am I right?
Yes, not on the air, hopefully, but all in my living room.
Oh, no. We've already had the first-person pronoun in reference to Michigan today.
Yeah, Jason Roper caught me.
Well, you know, Michigan and Alabama, of course, is the marquee game. But, you know, we get our first look at USC. That should be a lot of fun. Oklahoma also plays tonight, and it's accessible to most people. So it's a nice weekend.
Of course, Coach, we couldn't have you on. Even though you're our correspondent, we still have to ask you the WMIX Sports Question of the Week. What do you like to do on a rainy day? And I think I can already guess what that's going to be, but what do you like to do on a rainy day?
The same thing I like to do on a sunny day, the same thing I like to do in the summer or the winter or the fall. Either I'll be watching live football or I'd like to watch some tape.
There we go. Coach, thank you for taking the time to do what you do for us every week now. We look forward to talking to you again next week and recapping the action that you've seen.
I enjoyed it, guys. Thank you.
That's John Shadowens, WMIX Sports Correspondent. Different game every week, sometimes multiple. And recapping it here on Saturday morning for you. This is the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX and MyWeathersRadio.com. We'll try to get in another scoreboard update here before we go to break, so we're going to work on pulling that up so we can get you another scoreboard update here on WMIX here in this 9 o'clock hour. We still have Woodlawn volleyball talk to come here on the Saturday Sports Show, and we're also going to get that scoreboard update. It looks like we have those scores ready to go for you.
And the Mount Vernon opponents last night, SHG beat Rochester 29-26. Triad beat Collinsville by a score of 43-33. Belleville West beat Althoff 35-0. Marion over Mattoon 43-21. Carbondale over Harriman 60-20. Centralia beat Bethalto late last night 14-13. And Mount Carmel beat Mount Vernon, Indiana 38-19. Cahokia is at host Alton on Monday at 1 p.m. Harrisburg over DuQuoin 7-6. Callaway County, Kentucky beat Massac 43-28. Pinckneyville over Frankfort 14-6. St. Joe Ogden over Carterville 50-14. Mater Dei over Nashville 46-0. Westclin over Redbud 8-zip. Freeburg over Carlisle 7-6. Waterloo over Columbia 21-14. Highland over Mount Zion 35-8. Breeze Central 35-19 over Dupo. PBL beat Effingham 30-22 as a deep sigh goes through the studios here with Effingham losing, going to 0-2. Chester beat Cessna Waltonville Woodlawn 25-0. El Dorado over CZR 22-13. Now, games that were postponed: Carmine and Johnson City will be Monday at 6:30. Vienna, who leads Hamilton County 12-3 in the second, will be there Monday night at 6:30. And as Coach Shadowens mentioned, a lot of interested parties wanting to know if AJ and Murfreesboro are going to get together. That decision is going to be made in exactly 50 minutes if they're going to continue that game this morning in Union County, or actually what would be the afternoon, what it looks maybe 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
I'm going to do the math and say that's 10 o'clock when they're going to make that decision.
10 o'clock. Right? 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
Not bad for Saturday morning for me.
You know, 10 o'clock will be the time of that decision today between AJ hosting Murphy.
All right.
Come on,
everybody in the room and everybody listening had that figured out, but it took me an extra second to put some gusto on that. Yep. Here on the Saturday Sports. We're glad to have you with us. Still some Woodlawn volleyball talk to come as well. Of course, we have some volleyball coverage coming up for you this week. Tuesday, we are on the road at Centralia. That's right after Labor Day. It's going to be a special. Of course, unfortunately, no video for you due to the blackout regulations at CHS. So we'll have audio online at mywithersradio.com. We'll stick an audio archive up as well, assuming that I remember hit the record button. That's half the battle. That really is. Then on Thursday, we are at Woodlawn. We'll try to get you some high-quality streaming video at Woodlawn and from Side Gymnasium as the Mount Vernon Lady Rams travel across the county to tangle with the Woodlawn Lady Cardinals. That should be a dandy, and we'll talk about it coming up here on the Saturday Sports Show. We need to slip out for a break. This is the Saturday Sports Show presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Back after this. These.
Just about everyone is trying to save money these days, especially when it comes to drugs and pharmaceutical products. Did you know the Medicine Shop can, and in many cases, offer better prices than the big discount stores?
People need to know that independent pharmacy, in almost every case, is able to offer the same or better pricing than the chains can offer.
Remember, your insurance price and copay is the same wherever you go. For cost savings and great service, try the Medicine Shop, 2339 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
Have you ever been traveling out of town and realized you needed cash? Using another bank's ATM can cost you a few extra dollars in fees to get the cash you need. Well, not anymore. People's National Bank introduces MoneyPass. MoneyPass allows you to use over 23,000 additional ATMs in the United States without any fees. Stop by People's National Bank. Visit peoplesnationalbank.com or moneypass.com to find out more information. People's National Bank, providing our customers the highest quality products and services since 1909. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Just about everyone is trying to save money these days, especially when it comes to drugs and pharmaceutical products. Did you know the Medicine Shop can, and in many cases, offer better prices than the big discount stores?
People need to know that independent pharmacy, in almost every case, is able to offer the same or better pricing than the chains can offer.
Remember, your insurance price and copay is the same wherever you go. For cost savings and great service, try the Medicine Shop, 2339 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
Here, there, everywhere. It's Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, mywithersradio.com. Glad to have you with us for, 45 minutes. Started to say another hour. We already said that about 15 minutes ago. However, presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Glad to have you with us as we talk Woodlawn High School volleyball with head coach Sarah Lomchek. Coach, good morning.
Good morning.
You know what? The Woodlawn Lady Cardinals, of course, got their season started back on, I believe, Thursday the 23rd against Cesarville on the road. Then Thompsonville, of course, came calling on the 29th. Then on Tuesday, I believe you have Odin coming into Side Gymnasium. So it's been a busy start. All of that leading up to the Mount Vernon Lady Rams on Thursday the 6th.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a pretty good start so far this season.
And you taking over the program there at the high school as well as at junior high. How much of a difference has that made to coach the kids in junior high and then come into your program at the high school?
I think it makes a lot of the difference. The girls that I have right now that are sophomores, I've had since the 8th grade. So I've kind of been able to, get them on the right track going into it and kind of teach them, talk to them about maybe playing some club ball and doing those kind of things. And they're just so coachable, and I just can't say enough about them. Any of the girls that I've had from the grade school up, it's just been a wonderful experience.
For our listeners, give the record of your team so far.
It's 3-0.
3-0. Talk about some of the kids that are on your team that are really producing. I got to see that match the other night against Noble. Very impressive win in 2 sets over Noble. But talk about your kids who are leading your team this year.
Well, we have Sabrina Durham. She's my only senior. I have one senior. She's doing a great job. She's our middle hitter, and she can play the back row as well. She's got a great serve. She's just our team leader, and I just couldn't ask for more from her. She's just been wonderful since I came. And then I also have my other middle hitter is Annie Wareheim, and Annie's just a force at the net, and it's pretty much every time she gets the ball, it seems like it's a kill. And she's just a great girl to have on your team. Any coach would love to have her. And then I have 2 outside hitters. I have Megan Isaac and Ryan French, and they both produce for me every game, and they're the go-to girls if there's a bad pass. Kelsey Box sets it to them, and they just put it down. And Kelsey Box, my setter this year, which is a little different. She's never set before, and she stepped into that role and has just done an excellent job. And I just can't wait to see her, have her for the next 2 years as a setter. And I also have Carly Etheridge. She plays opposite of Kelsey, and so she does my rover and picks up all the tips. She does an excellent, excellent job. She's really stepped into that role as a sophomore. And I also have a libero, Sam Williams, and she has never liberoed really, and she just started playing last year for me. She didn't play her freshman year, and she's done a great job. She gets the ball up. She's just a hustler. And I have Katie Guerin. She comes in and plays the back row for Megan Isaac, and she has done an excellent job as well. I was really glad to get her as a sophomore. She came from Mount Vernon, so it was a good addition to our team as well. So just all around, they're just a great team.
Youth is what I'm hearing. Lots of underclassmen already doing so well. Is that kind of how much excitement does that give you and your coaching staff the next couple of years?
I can't. I'm so excited because I have three juniors, I have 3 sophomores, and then 1 senior. So and I have a lot of freshmen and other sophomores coming up, and I see the program being very tough for the next years to come. I just think these girls are going to do wonderful. I can't wait to see them as seniors. I just can't imagine how good they'll be.
Looking at your schedule, a member of the Midland Trail Conference tournament at the end of the year in October, talk about who you think, and you can pick your team if you want, who'll be the leaders in that Midland Trail Conference run for the championship?
I would like to think that, yes, we'll be up there. I think that Grayville will be pretty tough. Wayne City, the last couple of years, they've really started. They looked really good last year. I think they're going to be tough again. Sisney, I think Sisney's going to be definitely in the top finisher. They have a pretty big middle hitter, and they're doing well this season as well. And then, North Clay, they usually come out and do pretty good too. I don't know much about them this year, but I know they usually have a pretty good team. So I would like to think we'd finish top, but I'm hoping.
When I went to the match the other night, when I went to the match the other night against Noble, one thing I noticed, a lot of times in other sports you don't get a big crowd, you don't get a lot of noise is showing up. Your crowd, you have a student body that's absolutely phenomenal. They don't yell at the other team, they don't call names, and that. How important and how much of a home court advantage is that for you and your team to know that group's down there in that section of those Woodlawn High School students cheering on your team?
I think it's super important. I know the girls have kind of even commented on it. We've been trying to get the fans in, but it seems like the better your team is and the more big hits you put up there, it just gets them all into it. And this year it just seems like the kids have really come out and supported us well, and we're so excited to have them up there. And I have great parents, the parents of my girls and the grandparents and their extended family. I mean, they're all coming to the games, and that just makes all the difference in the world to the girls and to me to know that you have that support out of your community.
Running through this week, 2 games, Tuesday and Thursday at home against Odin and Mount Vernon. Conference game Tuesday. In this day and age, people know each other, kids know each other, Mount Vernon, Woodlawn. How important is it going to be to keep your team focused on Tuesday rather than looking ahead to that Jefferson County battle on Thursday night?
I think it's really important. We have to think conference, first. As a volleyball team and a program, we've never won the conference. So that would be a really big step. We would love to win a conference, and so I really want to keep them focused, and that's what we always talk about. However, Thursday it's always a fun match. Everybody kind of knows each other, Mount Vernon, Woodlawn. It's always kind of a little bit of a rivalry, so it's always exciting to have a big game like that and know that it's going to be good competition to play. And
we, as in WMIX Sports, will be there on Thursday night to bring you that game on AM 940 as well as streaming live video on MyWithersRadio.com. And we finish with a question each time you'll be on the show. We have an out-of-the-ordinary, out-of-the-rule question. It's our WMIX Sports social media question of the week. And here it is. It hasn't rained much lately, but we're asking people, what do you like to do on a rainy day?
I like to sit in my house and play with my 12-month-old baby girl. Spend time with my husband.
I noticed she's one of the loudest fans at the ball game the other night in that match, wasn't she?
I do like to think she's the loudest, and I'm pretty sure she's the cutest.
No bias there, is there?
No, none at all.
Coach, thank you for taking the time to join us today on the Saturday Sports Show.
It.
Thank you. We look forward to Thursday night. That'll be the Lady Rams and the Lady Cardinals squaring off at Sides Gym. We'll have that for you on WMIX. Of course, we'll also have Lady Rams and Annie's on Tuesday night. That'll be here on AM 940, online at MyWithersRadio.com. Audio only. Tuesday we'll have video. We'll do our best for video on Thursday from Woodlawn. This is the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, MyWithersRadio.com. We need to slip out for a break. When we come back, plenty more to talk about here on the Saturday Sports Show. Did I do it, or did I not do it? My mind is mush right now. How about it's
You
presented
did,
by?
but it's okay.
How about it's presented by Crossroads Community Hospital? It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
We'll be back after these.
America is a nation on wheels. Everyone has at least one automobile. We use them for shopping, work, everything we do. But they can be a threat. Some accidents can't be prevented. Your professional Pekin Insurance Agency, Page Insurance on Crownview in Mount Vernon, can help protect you from a large financial loss when an accident happens. Call Page Insurance today at 242-7000 about low-cost auto insurance from Pekin Insurance. Ask them about the many money-saving discounts that are available. Depend on your hometown professionals. Pekin Insurance.
Hello, my name's Richard. When my wife had a heart attack, every second felt like an eternity. I wasn't thinking about what hospital had outstanding results or first-class facilities. All I cared about was getting her help fast. Thankfully, I didn't have to think about those things. The ambulance took us to Good Samaritan Regional Health Center. From the second we were admitted, I knew she was in great hands. My wife was immediately treated by an experienced cardiologist. I have no doubt the folks at Good Samaritan saved my wife's life that day. It wasn't until later that I realized Good Samaritan ranks 20% faster than the national average in response time. And they work directly with the prestigious Open Heart program at Washington University. In 2013, Good Samaritan will be opening an all-new regional health center, making their heart care even greater. We're thankful that such quality care exists right here in Southern Illinois.
Good Samaritan Regional Health Center. Raising a hospital, raising the bar.
If your definition of local is Southern Illinois and adjacent states, pay no attention to this message. Hi, I'm Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank. Others advertise the message of being a local community bank. However, Community First Bank is the only local community bank exclusively serving Jefferson County with 5 locations and 5 ATMs. In short, loans and deposits stay local and benefit you.
Community First Bank with locations in Mount Vernon, Woodlawn, Dix, and Ina. Welcome back to Personal Banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, MyWithersRadio.com. Glad to have you with us. Presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's not more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Oh, got fair brain. You know the feeling.
Mine got cooled off as I was walking back to my vehicle with the downpour coming on last night, so mine got cooled down a little. Hopefully things will be a little bit better today. I know, the forecast and the outlook not necessarily the most promising, but it should be a great day at the fair. I know the Withers Broadcasting, Dana Communications, Entertainment 10 will be rocking today. I know there's Southern Pride will be there among some others. Whiskey Dixon, of course, tonight. Matt Mason will headline at 10 o'clock in the Withers Broadcasting, Data Communications, Entertainment. And against the Tide, saving Able Default in the Grant. Am I reading the right day?
Did you read Matt Mason?
Yeah, not that one.
Oh, not that one?
No.
Okay, sorry, I heard that.
No, not that one.
Okay.
Different Matt Mason.
Hadn't heard about that yet.
Well, he may not have either.
Well,
probably
not, but I was,
No, not that one. But, yeah, against the Tide, saving Able Default in the grandstand tonight. And it'd be a good day at the fair, I think, as long as the rains hold off. You have a chance to see Bo Meyer down there at the fair.
Bring your peanut M&Ms.
Yeah, I haven't seen him yet.
He might give you a T-shirt.
Yeah, it's always nice to see him down there. So, it's not been too terribly hot. It's been pretty nice. It got warmed up yesterday before the rains took over, but hopefully it'll be a good weekend coming up.
Speaking of not too terribly hot, what's wrong with the St. Louis Cardinals?
Oh, I don't know. They've done this in the past. They've taken time off because you're in that Central Division. You can do that. I mean, it's not earth-shattering that you have to put on massive winning streaks to compete in that division. I think they're just a little down in the dumps right now. I've seen a couple of blurbs the other day of McGuire popping off a little bit about the hitters, and they've been real willing to bounce back after the article now in 4 games, scoring 1 run. So they responded well to that. So I'm not sure what little turmoil is going on, but the Furcal injury is going to hurt them a little bit as far as the table setting goes for them. But, just got a couple guys banged up right now like everybody else in baseball does. And Molina's, missed a few games. So, they're struggling right now. But not only just the hitting, the pitching's not been there as well. Wainwright gave it up last night, so a lot of Cardinal fans were counting on that one. But Gio Gonzalez had different ideas.
How astonishingly well has that trade worked out for the Washington Nationals?
Yeah, it's worked out very well.
Because Gio was a guy that was always kind of just on the fence there in Oakland. Which way was he going to go? But he's proven to be a very good National League guy early on.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of difference in pitching in the American League to the National, and Gio's been one of the guys that you sort of had to prod along a little bit on everything I've read, and then even last night for some people that was able to catch his interview on the major network about finishing the game, he basically said, and this has been his past. After the 8th inning, he come to the bench, in a 10-0 game, and he said, "I'm done, Coach. I'm done." He goes, and David Johnson looked at him and said, "No, you're not. You're pitching the 9th." And it sort of caught him off guard even. But, he sort of had that mentality that I've done enough to get a win here, and I'm ready to go to the bench and go ice and be done. But, there comes a point where you have to step it up a notch and give that bullpen an extra day's rest or whatever, so he comes out and has a good 9th inning. So see if this maybe turns the corner. I think that's win number 17 on the year for them. And he's going to be big for them down the stretch, especially in the playoffs, because you're getting now to the dreaded 170, 180 inning mark, for another certain pitcher on that team that's been the talk of the baseball world here recently.
2 to 3 more starts. Space them out, boys.
Well, I don't even know logically how that would be. That may be a detriment to his arm and shoulder as well. I think this is just me, but pitchers know how to pitch the right way. You don't have to worry about their arms, the shoulder, the things like that. He has a good delivery. He pitches with his legs. But it's a concern. I know the organization has said it, and now they've said it so much to themselves, to anybody that's wanting to listen. They did it to themselves. They've got to now stand up and follow through with the things. So it's going to be hard to do that, and for Strasburg to be in the playoffs, he'll be there, but maybe as an onlooker.
So you mean to tell me when they get into the postseason and he's reached that inning plateau, that did not include the postseason?
You still got a whole month to go yet. And, I mean, he's teetering on the line right now.
Right, and you can't bring him back if you shut him down, obviously.
No, and I mean, you string these things out, and then you get that extra rest, and then you got to heat it back up again. You've done this all year long now, and pitchers are so fragile, or they want us to believe that pitchers are fragile, I guess. I always hark back to the Atlanta Braves. Look at the pitchers that they had, and they threw baseballs every day. Leo Mazzoni, that was his philosophy. Pitchers throw long toss the day after they pitch a 9-inning complete game. They're playing long toss the next day. And tell me all the arm injuries that Glavine and Maddox and Smoltz and all those guys had when they were pitching in Atlanta. How many missed starts did they have?
Maddox, never. Glavine,
maybe
never.
DL.
Smoltz blew his arm out because he threw so hard.
But, again, different philosophies nowadays with all the money invested in these pitchers and young pitchers that's had surgery. So, you're looking at that, and that's why Jackson's going to be so important to them and other guys down the road. So, it's inevitable it's going to happen because they give the leeway here. A couple of weeks ago, it was really going to be exactly 160. That was the innings mark. But now they've modified that about 2 weeks ago. Said, well, now that was just an arbitrary number, but somewhere in the neighborhood of 160 to 180. And I haven't pulled his stats up recently, but he's got to be really, really close to that.
Yeah, and you take a look around the rest of Major League Baseball, and obviously this isn't going to be our primary focus the rest of the show, but you look at the wild card and the two wild cards now. You have the A's and Orioles in the American League. The Rays are not far off. We had a three-way tie last week when we talked about this, but you look over at the National League. Braves still kind of hanging on to that top spot as far as the wild card. They are, I believe, 3.5 ahead of the Pirates. Pirates, of course, half game back for the final slot. Dodgers kind of lurking behind, hoping to use that trade to propel them into the playoffs. And DC, you're
closet.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're becoming a Dodger guy. I'm a little more convinced after last night. After the discussion on gray or white uniform.
Oh well, I've got Clayton Kershaw. I like watching him play that pitch, but it's frustrating. I mean, it was 30-1 before that game got over last night in the Ravine, and 2-0 night before, 4-3 last night. Dodgers can't score runs, and it's amazing because Kemp and Ethier and Ramirez and Gonzalez and A.J. Ellis and you name it, they're in the lineup, and they cannot hit. Victorino's out there, and they can't hit. They can't score runs. They can't, and baseball's baseball. I know they can't score 7 runs a game every night out, but, Ian Kennedy made them look bad. Kershaw couldn't get any support last night. I got it there. They couldn't get anything done. Bullpen comes in and loses another one. I mean, if the Dodgers could get on a 7-8 game winning streak, they would blow through some teams in a wild card race, and they'd knock somebody out, a Cardinals or a Pirates, out of that deal. I mean, it's just a matter of when the Dodgers are going to get hot. I think they're going to have a streak. It's just, is it going to be at the beginning of September or the end of September for the Dodgers? I think catching the Giants is impossible with their pitching, but, boy, the Dodgers are struggling offensively right now. It shouldn't be going on.
And for the naysayers of the Baltimore Orioles all year long, when will they drop? When will they come to realize it's not happening, folks? I'm sorry. That team's for real. Oakland is for real. The topic is turned to a lot with the Los Angeles Angels, with not happy with Mike Scioscia. We alluded to that a little bit last week. Some upset people with that payroll and that superstar lineup with everything, and already taunting now Cy Young Award winners and MVPs and Rookie of the Years and all this. It's not as easy. You have got to play the game. That's how you win baseball. You can't throw it out there on a piece of paper as a starting lineup. You got to go through with some different things. And right now, Oakland especially coming off a 4-game sweep of Cleveland, which they should have won. They did, putting a lot of pressure, in that wild card race and run. And now it's going to be a great month coming up.
And the Angels, to me, Zach Greinke's a good number 3. Great stuff, but not between the ears. Because he's not going to be a lead dog. He can't handle it. I don't know if you sign him. I don't think he's an ace. I think they can spend that money elsewhere. I mean, Vernon Wells is taking money he shouldn't be. He should have to give it back.
There's laws in some states about things.
Yeah, there's talking about stealing and pilfering and laundering, and Vernon Wells is doing that. I mean, Torrey Hunter's having a good year. Pujols is heated up. Trout's getting more ink than Xerox. I mean, it's. But again, I don't know if it's Mike Scioscia's fault. I mean, he's won all the time out there.
It's always a scapegoat.
It's always him, and if he leaves, and that's going to start the domino effect. And I still say Terry Francona and Tony La Russa are the number 1 and 2 candidates out there. If that goes down,
you bet.
Well, obviously Boston's going to fire away when they get done. If not before the end of the year, I think they're just going to make it till regular season day and then call it the next day. But I don't know if you can blame Mike Scioscia. I mean, my goodness, he can manage.
He's one of the best there is. It's just amazing. Now, you get a group of veterans, though, that he's been around through their minor league systems when he came up, and then knowing his affiliation. He's been in the Angels, maybe 12 years now, something like that, I guess.
The only thing I could see.
You hear that same thing all the time, and maybe they are thinking we need a different voice. I don't know, but he's a good guy too, but he can get in your grill pretty quick.
Another far-fetched idea that's come to mind is the new ownership group is in L.A. Are they going to be happy with Manley, what they've given him for the next 30 games? Plus, if he can't get something done, is that management group going to keep him? Because he wasn't the hire of this management group now in L.A. If they were to get rid of him and Scioscia leaves, would he go across town to the Dodgers, being an old Dodger from back in the day?
Solid logic.
Down the line. I don't think Mattingly's done a bad job. He won last year working paycheck to paycheck and got a winning record. This year he's got more firepower, but he can't win.
And that's the problem. And you're going to look at that deal from Boston. It's going to keep coming out more and more each week, and after the season's over, you're going to find out that was the new general manager making his statement on that team. The group that made them deals earlier, they're in the friendly confines in Chicago right now. So now you get rid of those guys because that was done by somebody else. Now I'm going to make my imprint on this team, and you could possibly be seeing the same thing in LA in that regard because Mattingly was not their guy. I think he's done an unbelievable job with what he's had to work with, and that has anything to do with him being a Yankee. I mean, he has not had a lot of stuff to do and was winning last year with a makeshift starting rotation and players that couldn't hardly hit their weight. And now that they've got a little bit of a talent, but they just haven't put it together yet with some new faces. And Chavez Vereen is no secret. In the daytime, the ball carries well. At night, not so much. So it's one of them things where they haven't been blessed with a lot of runs, support with their pitchers, their starting pitchers. And they've had a couple of key injuries along the line that sort of hurt them a little bit in their bullpen. But, this next 4 weeks, not only on the field action, but behind the scenes, already the managerial things, Manny Acta in Cleveland, his name's being gone on a negative side now. And he's not by himself. There's other ones, Milwaukee, already with the change and things like that. So it's going to be pretty interesting here coming up.
Waiting for the wild card games. They better not put those in obscure times because you have two teams playing to get in. How fun will those two games be? I mean, that's going to pick up some interest from baseball guys like myself.
Well, yeah, and you're going to have it's just the one game, and then you're going to have these teams that are fighting and are going to have to use your regular rotation, possibly till that final day of the regular season. Now you're going to have to find out one starter who's got something left to pitch one game. Now you're going to be in that fifth inning of that game in a 0-0, 1-1 game. You got to play you got to play that game before you make it into the next round, and you're immediately then going to host, playoff rounds. So then you're going to have two games back to back, and that's where you're going to utilize your starting rotation, and that's what baseball's been wanting to do. Try to penalize. They look at it as penalized. You got to look at it more optimistically. You made the playoffs. Now the first round for you is going to be a one game.
Unbelievable. But it's Major League Baseball. Are we surprised?
30 spring training games. You go through a trade deadline. You go through arbitration month. Play 162 games. Okay. And we're not counting now a possibility of how close these things are of having a tie somewhere along the line to throw a game playoff in before, quote, a playoff game starts. That would be something else to see right there if those things play out. And as tight as these races are, who's to say what will happen?
Exactly. Of course, Major League Baseball winding down as college football and professional football get started up. And as you guys were talking about, we talked about some of our guests earlier today. There's going to be a lot of great college football getting started this weekend. Of course, depending on whom you root for or where you might be an alum, for some the season may not start off all too great Thursday night in Charleston, Illinois. But be that as it may, the Salukis unfortunately unable to come up with a win against the Eastern Panthers. We do look ahead to other games going on this weekend, and definitely some big ones on the docket.
Very big. And one thing about the disturbing fact in that game Thursday, I think a lot of people really looked at Southern's defense as being a key.
It was a key. Eastern Illinois had the key, and they opened the lock.
Yeah, they had a big key.
Seven,
and,
yeah.
Boy, that's just definitely not what you want to have happen on your first game of the season, because that was going to be one of your strengths of your football. And when you tout it like that, that's one of the things that really, just sort of puts that negative vibe into your season as quick as it gets started. But you got to turn the page and move on and try to make some corrections. But, this is a nice weekend. The games are really spaced out nice today. You got the big national game, I think, at about 7 o'clock, and then you follow that up with Oklahoma in a night game. So you're going to catch some good stuff early. Everybody's gearing up for Alabama, Michigan, and then Oklahoma's game at night after it. So this is a great Saturday. They really strung it out good. You had Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, and I'm not too sure there may be a Sunday night game here
there's Sunday nights
on college until the NFL gets going. So
yeah.
A nice weekend for college football to make their statement opening season.
Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech Monday night. The only thing about Virginia Tech I like to watch is special teams. Other than that, it's like, okay, who have you brought in that has a record on that team? Georgia Tech run the triple option. That'll be fun to watch. Kentucky Louisville tomorrow at 2:30. Didn't realize we played football. There's another first-person pronoun.
Who?
That's what I said.
What?
Kentucky Louisville.
Oh yeah, they play football.
Gotta hang with me.
I think Illinois gets.
If it has become apparent,
Michigan.
Yeah.
Do what now?
Illinois today.
Illinois
Central
hosts.
Michigan?
Let me look here. I just saw them. No, that's Northern Illinois. Illinois hosts Western Michigan at 11 a.m. in Champaign. New regime opening up there. Another game, Southern Miss and Nebraska is interesting. Murray State had to go to Florida State today. I thought that was a nice
is that on TV?
turn. That is on ESPN 3.
Woof.
Hawaii at USC. I think I'm interested to just see what USC's got.
That's right.
What they have.
Yeah. The penalties are over. They can compete now for a conference championship, and you can see what's left. They've been penalized with the lack of scholarships here for the last couple of years, so you can see that product that will be on display tonight as well. So there'll be definitely some look-ins on that one. Their team speed has always been amazing. You look at outside the SEC, you look at Oklahoma, you look at USC, are usually about the only teams that speed-wise that can stay like with that Southeastern Conference juggernaut that they've had the last several years. So, yeah, that's going to be a nice look-in to see them.
Sorry. Somebody lied about their marathon time. It's not good when you're running for office and you get caught.
Oh, who cares?
Okay, sorry. Just saw it pop up as a sports thing. I thought, it's not good to lie about your marathon times.
I know. It doesn't matter what
Doesn't matter
walk
who
of
or
life.
what.
Exactly.
lie anyway.
Ohio State, how do we feel about that?
Who? Oh, sorry. Urban Meyer will get that back. I mean, they're going to be competitive. They're going to win. They'll probably have a winning record this year. And then next year, watch out. I mean, it's Urban Meyer. Allegedly couldn't coach anymore. Tim Tebow left. Now he's back at Ohio State. So that'll be interesting to see how he pans out in the physical Big Ten.
Sorry.
What?
The physical Big Ten. I know that's the adjective that
allegedly.
Like
now that Michigan's running a spread.
Yeah. No, they're going to have a winning season. It's just the type of guy he is. He's a leader. That's all he is, and he's going to get the guys, the recruits, the people, the right people coming in, and turn that around. It'll be just like of old. It'll be Ohio State, Michigan at the end of the year. Wisconsin's going to be good again. I mean, that's a given with Monty Ball back. What he scored 32 touchdowns last year. What's he going to do this year? 40 or 50? Who knows? But the Ohio State, the tough game to see how the reaction's going to be naturally. It's the elephant in the room is Penn State. What's going to take place on that front with all the bad things, the bad publicity, and it just snowballs. It keeps getting worse. A new book's going to be coming out called Paterno. Got permission from a family to write the book, and then yet it's going to be pretty truthful. I guess there's going to be a lot of bad things in the book as well. So that's just not going to die away, and it's bad that the young men that's going to be taking the field for the Nittany Lions, are going to have to live through that again. And basically everybody there from now on until it dies down. Not good.
No, it's not.
Penn State will be okay this year, but I think next year and the year after when the scholarships keep getting cut, that's when the downfall is going to happen. They'll be okay now this year. Decent group returning. It's when the scholarships start getting cut the next 2, 3, 4 years is when it's going to start happening.
And obviously we want to move on to other things, but I just have a hard time, and we could devote a whole 2 hours to this, but I just have a hard time of penalizing this group of kids for something that happened years ago. I don't know any other way what they can do about things, but it's just a very ugly thing that happened, but it's just a shame these kids now that had nothing to do with that will be the brunt of the bad things that's going to take place.
Doesn't seem right, does it?
Well, I mean, it's reality. It's life. I mean, that's what it is, and you have to move on, and hopefully there's a silver silver lining in a cloud somewhere down the road for those young men.
Well, it's not going to be easy, and they're going to have to work at it. We do have one more break to take here on the Saturday Sports Show. We'll come back, talk more sports. Saturday Sports Show is presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Whether it's 3G Wi-Fi, in-dash navigation, a power sliding rear window, or one of over a dozen other cool available features, the 2012 Dodge Ram 1500 is full of innovations that you may have lived without, but will soon wonder why. Hi, Roy Schmidt Dodge dealer at King City Chrysler Center, Mount Vernon. And for those who might not be tech savvy, the Ram 1500 also boasts in-floor storage bins and available 2-tier center console and the available Ram Box cargo management system. Wow, there's something for everyone in the 2012 Dodge Ram, and now you can get $1,500 rebate plus 0% financing for 84 months. Stop by King City Chrysler Center at 1603 Broadway in Mount Vernon and see one of our sales associates about driving away in a new Ram or any new or pre-owned Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep. Plus, see our inventory on KingCityChrysler.com and find us on Facebook.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital. With our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, the entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
And welcome back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, MyWithersRadio.com. Glad to have you with us as we have our final segment of what could end up being, for a short while, a beautiful Saturday as the sun is peeking out from behind the clouds here in downtown Mount Vernon. 12 minutes until the top of the 10 o'clock hour. That's how long we have left here in the Saturday Sports Show. And you know, as we kind of take a look around the world of sports, the National Football League officially gets underway next weekend, and it can't come soon enough.
Yeah, I think everybody's ready. You see the preseason, you see the good, the bad, you see the comedic replacement officials in some of the games with some of the calls that they're making. I tell you what, I thought I was going to fall out of my chair the other night when I watched. They went under the hood and looked at a replay, come back, and stood there right in front of everybody and all the glory, and decided, you know what, guys, I'm going to go look at that again. So, yeah, hey, just be truthful about it and go look at it again if you think you need to. So, yeah, an interesting side note to that is that Vegas is curiously looking at their lines a little bit different because scoring has been up in the preseason. And they think that the
really did you ask the Jets about that?
That's too comical. That is too comical. But they think they may have to raise the line a little bit just to be sure, because their replacement officials may be leaning towards the more physical teams and let them get away with a little bit of something. So curious on how all that plays together.
Well, and next weekend, Wednesday night, I believe. What's the 5th? Wednesday? Official kickoff?
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be.
Who's in that game?
Dallas at the Giants.
Oh, is that right? Cowboys.
Sunday. No, that's Sunday.
No. Wednesday night.
Wednesday night,
Dallas
baby.
at New York. It's supposed to be
Who's
Thursday.
the first game of Sunday then? There's a doubleheader Sunday night.
Broncos are hosting
Pittsburgh. That's the Sunday night, but there's another. Well, okay, then that will be then.
Dallas and New York.
Monday night we have the old doubleheader of Cincy, Baltimore, and San Diego, Oakland.
Yeah,
because we would not know what to do if we did not have
the Raiders
in that second game. And I'm not. It's no diss or anything like that. It's just I get tired of seeing the same crap every year.
Well, they have to have a West Coast team,
right?
And everybody wants. And this goes back to the crying that Dallas and Detroit have a Thanksgiving Day game is what it is. And so we got to have a third game on Thursday night. Then you got to have Oakland has to have their first week Monday night ESPN game. You know, everybody's got to have a day off. Everybody's got to have this. Blah blah blah. Okay, now we got all this taken care of. Yeah, I'm like you. There's too many opening days.
But it's big money right now. Oh, my gosh.
No
really?
way.
Breaking news on the Twitterverse.
Oh, man.
The promotional item for the St. Louis Rams this year is apparently going to be Jeff Fisher mustaches.
Oh, no.
Now, Danny doesn't need one because he looks exactly like Jeff Fisher.
That is hilarious.
But that'll be great.
Right.
That's
Check that out.
infringement.
Copyright, baby.
I would
Check that out.
be very disappointed.
Well, you know what? Our next promotional item needs to be here at the station. DC mustaches.
I don't have that.
Well, we'll just get a couple Jeff Fishers and
Or he could
repackage them.
He could go this way.
No. No. I don't
happening.
If you don't have to, don't.
I'll have to if I don't have to. Yeah.
Was there
Jeff
something
Fisher.
wrong with those that have to?
Jeff Fisher mustaches. Nice.
Yeah, but NFL.
Rams need something to distract because right now Sam Bradford's 27 going on 102, getting hit all the time.
Against the second string against Baltimore, which they didn't start and play many regulars, when he does have time, that quick release, he can get rid of it if the receivers can hold on to things. And there was a nice little stretch where he had a nice rhythm going and got protected. So as long as he can stay upright, and we always talk about quarterbacks having clean uniforms. If he has a clean uniform, they're going to be able to score some points. If he gets a dirty uniform, boys, it's going to be another long year. I mean, Steven Jackson may be in the best shape he's been in since his first 2 or 3 years, but, boy, you can only take so many beatings, through that.
There's only so many times I can see Steven Jackson get 25 yards of carry and 2 yards of rush to get his 50 or 100 yards or whatever he's doing.
Exactly.
That's all he does. I mean.
It's been brutal. It's been brutal. And they're just a team that's not going to be that deep, and then they're going to have to pick their spots. I think their defense is going to be okay. They can get some pressure. They can get some pressure on the quarterback a little bit and take a little pressure off that backfield that they have defensively. But their linebacking front line's coming around pretty good, so they're just going to have to play the schedule. They're going to have to win home games against people they need to win against, and hopefully they can get maybe they can get 6 wins this year. Anything's going to be a positive step forward for them.
Positive steps, sometimes baby steps, really, are all you need, as long as those steps are positive, and that's been tough for the St. Louis Rams over the course of the past however long. But eventually, you think it's going to have to come with Jeff Fisher at the helm. But what if it doesn't?
Southern California.
I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet.
That's still in the backdrop, boys and girls. I hate to say that, but that stadium lease agreement fixing up, scheduling issue, that's going to come sometime. And
wait, you mean Jeff Fisher to SoCal, USC, or you mean the Rams?
The whole organization will go back. I mean, they're going to build something out there in L.A. They're going to have something whether they want to or not in L.A. It's going to happen. Whether it's the Rams, Jaguars, Vikings, Chargers, or otherwise.
What about my conspiracy theory of Rams to L.A., Jaguars to St. Louis?
Well, I mean, it's very viable.
Because remember, Khan tried to buy the Rams before he ended up with the Jaguars.
That's valid, but I believe Khan also has put something in writing through the city of a time period of, and I think it was longer than what initially people thought. I thought it was going to be like a 5-year plan or whatever, but I think it was something that ended up being a lot longer term, that he was going to stay with the city. So if it had been on the short term, I could definitely see that 100%, because if you really want to go way, way, way back, that was the St. Louis Titans, or the Stallions, excuse me. That was the St. Louis Stallions of yesteryear. That never was formed. The uniforms, the helmet, and for people remember that night when the corner of that curtain got caught in the breeze, you saw the helmet, and they quickly decided that and something happened at that point, and nobody. The rest is history. The rest is history. Jacksonville ended up getting it.
I remember when they were teasing what the name of the franchise was going to be, and I mean they were flaunting around some of the mascot names. We had the Archies,
Archers.
That's like even as a then 9-year-old, I thought, wow, these are dumb.
Yeah,
Stallions wasn't much better.
I didn't know what they were saying.
Out of the choices, it was the best. But
the Archers, I mean, just the initial sketches of seeing, a muscular guy with a bow and arrow type deal, and then having the arch itself, him underneath it, that was some of the things. But I'm sure some people remember that night very, very well.
I actually don't remember the night of the unveiling. I do remember the next day, and I was shocked. because I really thought that's what was going to happen. And you had a sense that at the time, Commissioner Tagliabue did not want a franchise in St. Louis, obviously, because you look at the Rams moving back in the winter, the 94-95 era, and just the fight that was put up back then.
It started that whole week. You felt good about certain things leading up to that week, and when it got right down to it, you just sensed that something wasn't right. Even on News Talk Radio, the excitement had died down a little bit. The insiders kept saying this, and you heard this and that, and you just did not have a good feeling the night of the unveiling. And then that happened, and then you knew that it was not going to be. But for whatever reason, that he was just not happy with doing that. Hey, was a mistake made or not? Who knows? The Ram fans have got to look at it this way. All those things unfolded. They got a Super Bowl trophy. That's what they got out of this deal. So whether they stay another, I think 2014 now is the final vote for this. I think you got another one coming up in a few months with the aldermen and all the people involved with the sports complex in St. Louis. Another vote to see the percentages, if that's going to change on upgrading the stadium. I just don't see financially how they can attempt to put that much money into refurbishing a facility. Seems like you could add just a little bit more and build an open-air stadium somewhere out west of St. Louis. But that's another topic. But 2014 will be D-Day if something don't happen. And that's not too far away.
Scarily enough, it is. And I'll tell you what's not too far away. That's NBC News at the top of the hour because, believe it or not, we're almost through about an hour and 53 minutes of programming here on the Saturday Sports Show. Of course, busy week for us next week in terms of, by comparison anyway. Tuesday night we head to Centralia for Lady Rams volleyball. Of course, they'll start a 5:15 freshman match. We'll be on the air following the JV match. You can expect us maybe about, I don't know. Just be patient. We'll be on the air eventually on WMIX. Audio only on mywithersradio.com due to the blackout policy up there. We'll try video again on Thursday at Woodlawn. The Mount Vernon Lady Rams head across the county to Sides Gymnasium. It'll be the Lady Rams, Lady Cardinals. Thursday on WMIX with video on mywithersradio.com. And then on Friday we head to Madison County. We go to Troy as the Rams travel to take on the Triad Knights. 6:40 will be your pregame. 7 o'clock will be your kickoff. Video on mywithersradio.com. And, of course, you can always catch every down of Rams football, whether it be St. Louis or Mount Vernon, on AM 940. Proud to be your home for Rams football, of course. And then the following week, it'll continue to get busier with volleyball and football as we also will bring you another Saturday Sports Show next week. Stay up to date on Twitter. You can follow us there at WMIX Sports. You can also find us on Facebook at WMIX Sports. We're going to upload today's show to YouTube. We'll have that on our archives on mywithersradio.com. So go to the WMIX website at mywithersradio.com where you'll find all of our archived broadcasts. Thank you for all who have taken the time to join us today. For Mike, for Danny, for Jeff, I am Chris Hugo. I bid you adieu today here from the studios of WMIX. So glad that you could join us. We hope that you'll tune in next week right here on AM 940 WMIX, Mount Vernon, Marion, Peoria, Paducah. Of course, that is a free service from Withers Broadcasting. Thank you, Withers Broadcasting, for allowing us to be here each and every week. CNN News, make that NBC News, is coming up now.